Hi everybody, I'm Nick.
And I'm Travis, and today we are going to talk about our first game of 2016, Dreamwell.
I'm really excited to show you how to play this game that I designed, so let's just jump right into it. In order to play Dreamwell, you're going to have to take a few steps during setup, the first of which is to create the board. So the game comes with 16 of these tiles, and they're double-sided tiles. For your first game, it's important that you use the tile that has the white stars around the border. So you'll use all of those sides up, and you'll make a 4x4 grid, and you lay them out randomly, and you can orient them any which way you want. For the sake of this video, we had them all oriented sort of straight up and down so that so it looks nice. But when you play the game, you can turn them whichever direction you choose. You'll also shuffle the deck of cards that have the white border around them, and you will deal 2 cards to each player. Each player will select a player color, and they will get 2 pawns or cutouts, stand-ups with their player pieces on them, and then 1 piece to denote what color they are, because your pawns will be out there on the board.
And what these represent is, these are some characters of Tara's called Mr. Wiggles. It's kind of like this little cluster of sentient balloons, and they're sort of like your familiars in the game. You're sending them out into the actual Dreamwell in order to try and find your friends that have been lost in this sort of maze-like world of the Dreamwell.
The point in Dreamwell is that you're trying to locate your friends that are trapped inside the Dreamwell, which is represented by the board here. During the course of the game, you're going to take turns, and on your turn, you'll take 3 actions from the list of the following actions. So you may rotate a tile, and now here are the tiles that we showed. So you can rotate a tile any amount of degrees. The reason that you would rotate a tile is because when you're going to move, you have to move off of a tile through one of the doors that are shown here. So when I'm on this tile, I can only move in these 3 directions. But if I decide to rotate it, I now have access to different tiles. You may also draw a card, and when you draw a card, it can either be from the row or from the top of the deck. If you don't like the options here and you want more options in general, you could replace the row. So you could take all 4 of the cards here, put them on the bottom of the deck, and lay out 4 new cards. Your final action that you're able to take is to play a card. In order to play one of the cards or locate one of your friends, you must find the 2 creatures that are shown here and the background, the terrain. Once you've done that, you can take an action to play the card. When you play the card, you will get a bonus shown here, and then you will score the points shown here in the lower left-hand corner of the card at the end of the game. Okay, we have the game all set up. We've both got our 2 starting cards. Our pawns start off of the board. So some of our first actions will probably be to move our pawns onto the board so that we can try and play some of these friend cards and figure out our strategy and how it's going to work in the game. So I'm going to go first. The first player in this game is whoever slept the longest last night, whoever dreamt the most well. So I'm going to try and score this card, or play this card. So I'm going to move one of my pawns, and when you're off the board, you can move in on any space, on any edge space. There is an option in moving that's a little bonus if you can get the arrows to line up, or the doors to line up when you're moving. So the rule is that whatever tile you move on to, if it has a door leading to where you just were, you can then move again for free through another door on the tile. So I'm off the board and I moved on here. So technically I have 2 doors that are pointing off the board, so I could move again for free. But I'm trying to locate this pink whale here on the pink background. So I'm just going to stay here. I need the polar bear guy here, so I'm going to move on to this tile. So now I have located the pink whale and the polar bear and the blue background. So I'm going to go ahead and play this card with my 3rd action. So move, move, and then play. And in this card, the ability is each turn perform a move action for free. So I know that I already meet 2 of the requirements for this card, and I just need to find a black swan. So my move action, I'm going to take and move upward here. So I get the black swan, because I get a free move action with the card I played. So
the card's worth 1 point right now.
Yeah, it's worth 1 point at the end of the game. There's no reason that you would keep track during the game. I mean, you could to see who's winning, but there's no reason that there's a running tally. So now it would be Travis's turn. He gets 3 actions.
Alright, so I think I'm going to go move onto this space, move onto our good friend Chubbo over here, and I will play my card. So this has the ability that I'm technically considered to be located on a space with an elephant. So I get to meet that requirement for free. She's worth 2 points per each of this girl that I have. So that was my turn.
That's good. So now it's my turn. So I'm already on the 2 creatures and the 1 terrain required to play my card. So I will go ahead and play it as my first action. And it's worth 4 points. It has a slightly worse ability in that it's locating a terrain that I may or may not need for my next card. So the other one could give me multiple moves if I had, planned it that way, since it's 1 move per turn. So with my second action, I'm going to draw this card here. It cares about the background that I've located for free. It also requires the pink whale here that I'm also currently on. So I just need to find my way to a Chubbo here. I could also take this time to kind of plan a little bit more ahead and shoot for playing multiple cards or planning out multiple cards. So I am going to do that. I'm going to go ahead and draw this card also.
But I wanted that card.
So my 3 actions were play a card, draw a card, draw a card. And I am done.
So it's also worth mentioning there's only 4 different backgrounds, and there's how many creatures?
8 different creatures.
8 different creatures.
So on this board, and you will not find every creature on every background, but you will find every creature twice and every background 4 times.
Alright, so it's my turn. I've got 3 actions. Unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to score my card this turn. So I've got a couple options here. I could just move and then move back on, but I'm just going to actually rotate this tile in. Let me get the board back here. So that's 1, 2, and then 3, and I'm set up for my card on the next turn.
Okay. So it's on me, so I can come onto either one of these 2 skullflowers and then play my card and have 1 action left for the turn. The reason I don't think that's the optimal play is because I'm not sure what to do with my 1 action, because none of these cards are particularly jumping out to me as something I want. I could take this guy, because he does score me 5 points if I get to 3 wolf ladies, and wolf ladies are my plan currently, but I think it's more important to try and find a wolf lady. So I'm going to start my turn by taking the replace the row action. So we're going to take all the 4 cards out, we're going to put them on the bottom of the deck, and then we're going to deal out 4 new ones. So I'm hoping to find a wolf lady here. 2 seahorse ladies, there's a wolf lady.
It also rewards you for your other set. So.
Yep, so I'm going to go ahead and grab this wolf lady. So, as Travis was saying, she gives you 3 points per pair of Ace and Ion. That's who these little kids are. I've already scored 1 pair of them, so that card's going to be worth at least 3 points. Don't know that I'll be able to get a second pair of them, but if I could, we'd be good to go. The reason I say I'm not sure if I'll be able to get a second pair of them is because the game ends at the round, after the round that somebody has scored 7 cards or played 7 cards. So I went first, so Travis will get to end the game no matter what. He'll take the last turn. So I have replace the row, and I've drawn a card, so I have 1 action left. So I know I want to come onto a Skullflower, but I also want to leave myself the best options for playing this card next. So I'm going to go ahead and come in over here.
Okay.
And I am done.
Alright, on my turn, I'm set up because I have the pink space background, and I have a bunny and a polar bear. So I did not get to use my whale ability here. But that's okay. So I'll score this, and then this says that I can move to a cave background. So I'm going to go, that was still my first action. And then my second action is going to be to move here, and then my third action is going to be to score again. So while Nick was ahead, now you can see I've caught up. And once again, I get to move somewhere where there's an elephant. So
all the abilities on the cards, it's important to note, are optional. So if you did manage to string together a bunch of cards and you were in the middle of your string of cards and you're like, oh, I don't actually want to move to this elephant, then you don't have to, but of course you're not getting the full value out of the card.
So I went ahead and I kind of teleported my guy over here to this elephant.
Okay, and that was your 3 actions, right? You went play, move, play, and you're done.
Yep.
So I'm going to move on to this bunny here for my first action. So for my second action, I'm going to go ahead and play this wild. And that's going to move me to any elephant. So if my goal is to play this, I should find an elephant that is going to help me out here. Which neither one of these necessarily is. I guess if I move here, then I'm only one move away to having all three of these requirements. So that's my second action. Move on, play. So now I'm going to move down to here as my third action. And I'm done.
All right. So first, I've got a swan, I've got the cave background, and the skull flower.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And then second, I'll move there.
Okay.
And then third, I'll score this.
Oh, there you go.
So I was able to snipe in there before he could play that last card.
Yep, so Travis was able to get to 7 cards. He went second, and I went first, so I've already taken my turn for this round, so the game is just going to end immediately. Well, at the end of his turn. He doesn't have any more actions, so it is the end of his turn. So we just move on to scoring. So the cards that I had left, unfortunately, I'm not going to get to score, so they just get discarded. And then we go through scoring. So I have these 2 wilds here, and I'm going to have to count them as wolf ladies because that's what I need to get this requirement. So they're going to score their points, and then whatever they score, you know, or for what other icon that I'm counting them as, or friend I'm counting them as. So I have 10 points here, 11, 12, and then another 5 because I did get to 3 wolf ladies. So I have 17. I don't think that's going to be enough. Travis got to 7 cards, and his seahorse ladies are worth a lot. If I had another turn, I would have made another 7 points, vaulting me to 7 or 24.
So let's just go through this really quickly. So every seahorse lady is worth an additional 3 on top of whatever they're worth.
Sure.
So she is worth 3.
Mm-hmm.
This one here is worth 3, so that's 6.
Mm-hmm.
This one here is worth 5 because she's worth 2.
Yep.
So we're at 11.
Yep.
This one here is worth 6.
Mm-hmm. 17.
17. So, and then, oh, sorry. Worth 4. So we'll just add 1 to each of those.
Sure.
So 1, 2, 3, 4.
Mm-hmm.
So 21.
Mm-hmm.
These are worth 2. So 23.
Mm-hmm.
And then I had a guy that cared about a pair.
Mm-hmm. And you did.
So
you got to 26.
Yep.
That was good. You
Yeah.
would have beat me even if I had gotten to play this card.
This is a first too. I'm glad we captured this on video.
That's right.
So the only other thing that really we need to talk about.
Sure. Yeah. Once you've played the game several times, you'll get used to these, and you'll get familiar with the game. And the very cool part about having double-sided tiles is we've created an advanced gameplay for it. So there's only a couple differences in the advanced gameplay and the basic gameplay. You're afforded an additional type of action. So you're still only going to take 3 actions during your turn. But in addition to the basic 5 actions that you get with the base game, you can also flip a tile over. So you'll pick whichever tile you want as long as either you're on it or no one's on it. And then you will flip it so that the other side is showing. So you'll notice that side has little black stars around the edge. And when you set up the game and you're playing advanced, you set it up with 8 with the white border, white inside border, and 8 with the black inside border. But when you flip it, you just have to make sure that the doors are still in the same spots as they were. The tiles were designed and paired so that you could tell what is on the back of a tile from what is on the front of a tile. So if I look at this, I should be able to tell, once I'm familiar with the game, that the dark edge around the side means that there's space on the other side, the black space. And then if you notice that the creatures are kind of paired together based on their colors. So both the Chubbo and the bunny are the same color. Both the swan and the umebuzo are the same color. Additionally, if I look at this pink, or the pink background card, I look around the edge here and it's got blue. When I flip it over, it has the blue background on the other side. So it is a little bit more thinky to it because it gives you more options. Oftentimes, instead of trying to run all the way across the board, you can just flip a tile that's next to you and move on to it. And that will allow you to play a card with much lower action investment. In addition to that, there are cards that you shuffle into the deck that have a black border on them because you can only locate those specific combinations when you're also playing with the flip action in the backside. And some of those cards have a little bit neater abilities when you play them. A couple of them will allow you to switch places of 2 of the tiles. Some of them will let you draw 2 cards instead of the other one being just draw 1 card. And they allow you to flip other tiles. So you may make it so that You know, if I'm here and Travis plays a card that lets him flip a tile that has this background, he can flip this over on it, and then I will probably most likely be one action further away from completing my card because he's messed with me.
And flipping the tile is another denial sort of element of the game where, like, you can flip the tile, and if I knew that Nick, for example, took a card and this was going to be helpful to him,
right,
I might flip that over so that it makes him have to use an extra action. But at the same time, I'm using an action, so I have to make sure that it's economical for me as well, not just out of spite. Although I do like to do things out of spite to Nick constantly. So yeah, that's pretty much it. I mean, there's some reviews underneath this video, and we've got tons of information on the page. We certainly recommend you taking a moment and going to Tara's website and checking out her artwork, as she's incredibly talented, and we feel extremely fortunate to be working with her. And we hope you guys like the game, and we look forward to telling you more about it as the campaign goes on. Thanks so much.
Yeah, thank you for watching the video.